everyone, Glenda Mollet here, and I'm in my craft room with you today, and I'm doing the videos for the Gnome for the Holidays class that I'm holding in September of 2020. So I just wanted to say hi. Thanks for taking my class, and thanks so much for supporting me in my business. I truly appreciate it. So I'm going to flip the camera around now, and we'll get busy. Okay, so this is the first card we're going to make. Uses the Gnome for the Holidays stamp set, and I'll show you what other supplies we're going to use. By taking the class, you do get a copy of the recipe as well, so I don't have to show that to you. Okay, so we're using the Gnome for the Holidays stamp set, and this is for all three of the cards. Snowflake wishes, I'm using a snowflake image, but you can grab a snowflake image if you're taking this class virtually and just use what you have. The Merry Christmas comes from Celebration Tidings. And then the inside, along with the snowflakes, has May Your Days Be Merry and Bright from 12 Christmas. Of course, that can be any sentiment you like. The holes in the front are cut with a Tasteful Labels die. So let me get it here. I've got it out already. This one. But circles would work, or rectangles, or squares. Something that you can make 3 windows. The Merry Christmas is cut out using this one from the stitched rectangle dies. And then the stars come from the stitched stars dies, and that's this part. Now I didn't put adhesive on these because they need to stick out into the windows, and I didn't want them to stick your card closed. So the card is also up on foam strips so that this window is actually recessed. So we'll get busy and do that, but I just realized I didn't get my big shot, or my die cutting machine, so just bear with me. Okay, got it. It's not far, it's just I don't want to have to get up once I sit down and start creating. Okay, so envelope, inside piece, and a bunch of pieces. Now, along with your card base, you have a piece of Whisper White 5 1/4 by 4 that has an X in the bottom. As usual, that's the inside piece, so I'm just going to hide that. This one is 5 1/2 by 4 1/4, and it fits right flush with your card front. So this is where we're going to do all of the magic, and some red foil and some pieces to do some stamping, and then there's the designer paper. So this has to go onto your card first before you cut the holes. Just grabbing my adhesive here. And I'm going to run a strip down the center as well. Oops, oh, this stuff so sticks to your fingers. Just want to make sure I've got it right in the center. Or, I mean, right on the edges. Now I'm going to use my grid paper. I'll move this up a bit so you can, and angle that a bit so you can see what I'm doing. So I'm lining my card base up on my grid paper using my 8-inch darker line as the center. So it goes from 5 7/8 to 10 1/8, and then this goes on there, and this just allows me to get it centered properly. And then, come on, apparently it's not going to cooperate. Uh-oh. Come on. This stuff, I tell you, it never happens when I'm in my craft room. There we go. I was just trying to get it lined up with the grid lines at the top, so I knew it was So I knew it was straight. There we go. Now this one's hanging over a little bit. So I'm just going to cut off that excess because I don't want it to hang out past the edge of the card. Okay, now let's bring in the big shot. Wow. No, let's bring in Maxie. I'm going to have to put its name on there. So I've discovered something that's really cool. So this is the new magnetic platform, and I'm using it on top of the old magnetic platform. And it doesn't seem to be curling as bad, which is a good thing. Okay, so now let's move this down and get everything set up again so that you can see right to the top. So this designer paper is from the Most Wonderful Time designer paper. It's 6x6. So some of you will get this pattern and some of you will get the candy cane pattern, because I didn't have enough for all of them in the same. Now I'm going to cut 3 of these out. The first one is going to be close up to the top and kind of line that up with that edge. And then I'm just making sure that it's straight. And then, come on, don't move on me. And then I'm just going to twist it a bit so that when it goes through the machine, it hits an edge or a corner and not a straight edge. So I'll just put that through Maxie. And so there's the first one cut. Now that will just pop right out of there with a little bit of persuasion. Maybe I should have put it through twice. Of course it's not going to work the first time. And I'm using thick Whisper White here, which is probably why it didn't cut properly. I should have thought of that. And we'll do the next one upside down. That'll probably help get them out. Now if you use just regular cardstock, this is not an issue. Okay. Now this one goes right over there like that. Now I'm going to take a bit of washi tape because I want to flip this upside down. And have it still in the same spot. My washi tape is old and drying out. There we go. So now I'll just twist that a bit. I'll turn it over because I said I wanted to do it upside down. Hello. Now this, I hope this works. And I'm running it through. There we go. No. Still not cutting through. Oh, maybe it did. Yeah, it did. Okay. Now I'm just going to be careful taking the washi tape off. Now I'm going to try something different. Now that we know that it works upside down, I'm going to line this one up where I want it, twist it, and I'm going to run it through twice and see if that works. Because we know it works upside down, and we know it works the first time through, but you have to cut a bit. So now let's see what happens with running it through twice. Take a die off. Oop. So it's just holding on there just a little tiny bit. And it's not a big deal because it's a straight edge, so we just go in there with our scissors and persuade it to let go. Just have to be careful I don't cut off my designer paper edge there. There we go. All right, so let's put the die back so I don't lose it. Cut off that little piece right there that's not letting go yet. There we go. Okay, there's our card front. Now these, take home and make them your own. I don't want to see them. Okay, so that's our front prepped. So I'll put that to the side, and I'm going to get out the 4 pieces I need to do the stamping. So we're going to stamp those 3 images and the Merry Christmas. These are all the same size, so it doesn't matter which one you do. Grab some dirty paper here because the gnomes are quite a bit bigger than the paper is. So I don't want to stamp on my nice new grid paper. Okay, using Memento ink, and we need this guy for the top. Ink him up. And I want to have kind of his face in the center-ish. Like that. And then we need, on a different piece, we need the lady elf with the tree on her head. Stamp that there. And on the third one, we need this dude. And we'll just stamp him very quickly. No, not very quickly. We're going to stamp him properly. Okay, so I'm going to put this away, and I'm going to stamp the Merry Christmas in real red. I made them all the same size so you didn't have to worry about which one you were stamping on what size. Some cutting is required, but that's okay. Okay, then for the inside, might as well do that while we're here. I'm going to, come on, stamp, may your days be merry and bright. Oop, put the X down. Okay, put that off to the, oh, I didn't, oh yeah, right. I was going to say I didn't do the envelope, but that's the snowflakes. All right, so I have Pool Party and the snowflakes. And I'm just going to do a few snowflakes. I got a little carried away on the original card. There's a lot of snowflakes on there, but that's okay. It's my card, I can do it. So there's that, and run a line of snowflakes up the envelope. I like how this stamp does a little squiggly thing. Okay, that's that. Now, these, I'm going to put some snowflakes around as well. And I just want to make sure that I'm stamped over far enough that we won't have any blank spaces. Okay, there's one. I'll do the next one. Lots of snowflakes stamping in this. But this is optional. You don't need the snowflakes on there if you don't want them. I just thought they were cute. Oops, that was dumb. Well, a little bit of an overlappy thing happening there. So so that's all the stamping done. Now we get to do some coloring. So this guy I gave him a green hat, and you can shade or not shade, so that on this card, which you can't see because I got it out of frame, on this card I did a lot of shading. This one I'm not going to. We'll just go for it. And you don't have to use the colors I use. You can use whatever colors you like. This is Old Olive. And I'm just using the light Old Olive. And I'm not doing everything because I want it to be a little bit lighter in there. Okay, then we're going to use the dark Old Olive for these leaves. And the dark Real Red for the bow. There's lots of coloring on these guys, but if you go quickly, it doesn't take a lot of time. And if you're not worried about shading, that makes it even faster. There we go. All right. See if I missed any red. Oh, missed his sleeve over here. And I'm going to use Granny Apple on the ornament. Not that you see it, but I like to have it colored. And light Smoky Slate to finish it off. And also light Smoky Slate for his beard and stash. And still not doing any shading. Not really necessary. I'm doing around the outside. Then I'm just going to kind of go really lightly over the center. And by not filling it all in, by leaving some lighter gaps, it looks a little more natural. And I'm using ivory for his skin, nose, eyes, mouth, or hand, and other hand. So there, he's done. Okay. Now, bring in the little lady. And while I've got this open, I might as well do her skin at the same time. Now there's a little piece right here above the apron. That can be either skin or that can be part of her dress peeking through. So I did it skin on that one. I'll do dress on this one. So dark Real Red for the dress. And the berries on the holly. And I'm using light cinnamon cider for the hair. And I'm not going to color the apron. I'm leaving the apron white, but I'll do dark Granny Apple green on the holly. And I'm going to use dark Old Olive for the tree. Concentrating. You know how it goes when we get together and we're coloring it? Dead silence happens. Oh, this is so fun. I find coloring so relaxing. There we go. Okay, so now I have dark Daffodil Delight. There we are. So she's done. And we'll get out this dude. Dark Real Red for his hat. And I kind of kept the theme the same as what the designer papers are for the colors. There. And I had dark Old Olive on that one. I think I'm going to switch and use the dark Granny Apple Green on this one. There we are. Oh, forgot this. And ivory for the skin. Light smoky slate for the stash and the beard. When we did these cards in a club, there was a lot of coloring too. Okay, now you don't see his feet and you don't see that, so I'm not going to color them. See, because all you see is the middle of him. So there we go. That's the coloring done. Okay, so now we'll bring back in the card front, and we're using foam strips for this. Let's get them out of the package here. So we're going to do all the way around all 3 holes and then around the outside where as needed. We'll just snip that corner. So this one's not going to need it because I'll be able to put a strip right across the top like that. There we go. Might as well do this. Then I'll know where I have to put it and where I don't have to put it. I love these foam strips. They make shaker cards and this type of window cards so much easier than they used to be. So this is just going to hold the windows, hold the gap in between the window and your stamped image. If you don't want to do this step, you don't have to. You can just make it flat if you want. Okay, and one piece right there, and I think we're done. Oh, except for this spot up here. And I have a piece left over, so I'm just going to add it in there because otherwise it won't get used. Okay, now I'm going to take the liners off of part of this. Make sure my candy canes are in the right direction. This way. This way I want. Okay, so this is the bottom one, and the bottom one is this dude. So now I've taken it off of part of it, and I'm going to line this, and I'm not paying attention to whether it's showing through or past the edge or not. I'm going to get it where I want it to be. And then just cut the excess off. And I didn't remove this one, so I can go in here and cut alongside it so that I'll still have good adherage. Adherage, is that a word? Things will stick on the edges. And the same with this one. There we go. So that one's ready. I think I'll just do a little bit more trimming here, because we have to get that other one in there too. Okay, so next I'll finish pulling this one off, and pull that one off, and pull that one off. I'm not going to pull that one off. So this is where the female goes. And I'm going to do the same thing here again. Not pay attention to where things are, just pay attention to what I'm seeing through the window. Uh-oh. Come on. Uh-oh. Okay, note to self. Put the silicone mat down. That would help immensely. Okay, there we go. Then it won't stick to your paper. All right, so now I'm going to do the trimming for that one. And by not taking all the liners off, you have lots of room to go in there and cut things. And I don't want them overlapping there, because that'll make a hump in the middle of the card. There we are. Okay, so now we just have the last one to do. Finish taking the liners off. And get my last image. Line him up where I want him. There we go. Thank goodness for silicone mats. Do a little bit of trimming again. Oh, didn't cut that one close enough. As long as you don't cut off too much, you're good to go. You can always go back and take more off. Okay, so now this is pretty flat. And then I'm going to get my card base, because we got to put it on, make sure it's opening the right way. Yeah, I was making a card last night. I put the whole front on upside down. Had to redo it. Well, no, I just had to take it off, turn it around. Thank goodness for undo. All right. Okay, so now you can go ahead and put tape on these. It's not necessary. So if you don't want to do that step, don't do that step. Okay, right side up, opening up. Okay, so then take it and put them both on the table like this, and use your hands to keep it in the center. And there you go. Get it perfectly lined up. Okay, get rid of the silicone mat and all my little bits and pieces here, because we're going to get more little bits and pieces. So for those of you who are doing this virtually, I cut out your star thing for you out of the red foil, and I also included all the little pieces because I used some of them on the front after I die cut this. So I'm going to run this through. Okay, there we go. So now I can throw these away because I'm not going to use those again. Get out my brush. Take this out of here. So there's that. And I'm going to keep out all of the stars. So we'll just throw this part away, since we don't need that. Okay, so now put those over there so I don't lose them. Now this is going to go on here like this. So we don't want adhesive on all of it. You just kind of want it around that star, in the middle, and around that star. Okay, my Tombow out. Just doing some little dots. And then I'm going to stick that off to the side to dry. Oh yeah, now it stopped coming out. There it is. And then I'm going to do in the center a little bit. Okay, so now put that to dry off out of the way and do the same thing. Now, how many did I use? 1, 2, 3. I used them all. Yep. Turn them all over. Bring them over and we'll put some Tombow on them as well. There we are. Okay. Now I'm going to take a stamp off the block. And I'm going to put these on a block so I don't lose them and I don't get glue everywhere. See, I'm learning in my old age. Okay, I'm not old. I'm not getting old. Something's happening in my driveway. I don't know what it is, whether it's rain or wind or somebody's here. But that's okay, because Ted's here. Okay, so now I've got the sentiment stamped, so I might as well cut it out. And I'm just going to cut it out with that die cut from the stitched rectangles. Take my time to center it, make it straight. That's done. Now, this is flat. After doing all of the foam strips, I decided that this needed to be flat, not popped up. So, oh, those little hairy things off there. That's just going to go. Whoops. There we are. Right, so now we'll put the inside in. Now, I didn't go around the edge of that, but I will have sponges available if you want to. Just do a little quick sponging. Now, you can sponge around the edges of your sentiment as well if you want. Mine's already on, so I'm not going to. There we are. Now, where's my recipe? Because if I don't write down sponge, I will forget to get it out for the class. There we are. All right, we'll put some adhesive on this. Put it inside. we are. Now let's put this stuff on. Kind of, sort of, like that. And just hold it there for a little bit till it grabs. Okay, so the big one is up here in this corner. And then the next one, next biggest one, I put here. And then we'll put one here. And we'll, uh-oh. Uh-oh. One up there. And the last one we'll put over here. There we go. So there's the card. There's the candy cane one, and there's the striped one. This one has shading, and this one does not have shading. So thanks very much for taking my class and for joining me on my video. I hope you have a wonderful day. Snap and smiles, and bye for now.